be starting off a fresh Monday morning, a fresh week, with 8 books started. We are a chronic book switcher, and now I'm in the gutter for it. So let's see if we can read some of these books that I have started and have yet to complete. This is our chronic stack. This is every book that I am in the middle of currently, right now. Whether I am 50% of the way through, 70% of the way through, or 1% of the way through, I have started and not completed these books. Every single one of them. So I'd like to say, I think over 2024, I realized that if I didn't like a book, I didn't have to read it. And some of the cases for people is like, right book, right time. And I think that that's true. Like, I think that you have a craving for a book that you want to read, whether it's fantasy, romance, based on genre, all that stuff, and you want to fulfill that. And I realized in my time of last year that if I wasn't feeling the vibe, I could put the book down. That has led to this pile now sitting at my feet. I have 8 books, and today I'm going to try and dwindle that pile down because it is giving me a little bit of an anxious feeling with the fact that I have so many things incomplete. This is Disney Fast Play. Wings of Starlight by Allison Saft. I'm about 80% of the way through this book. I'm buddy reading this with my friend. Gilded, I am like 55% done with this, by Christina Farley. Crown of Midnight, 1% done with, by Sarah J. Maas. Beg, Borrow, or Steal, 38% done with, by Sarah Adams. Anatomy by Dana Schwartz, I am 15% of the way through. 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston, probably like 0.5%. Divergent by Veronica Roth, 9%. King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo, 5%. I've got to make a decision on what I'm gonna start. To be honest, right now I'm gonna pick up Gilded. It's a YA fantasy book and it's very much YA. I feel like I've been putting this off just because I feel like it's a little too YA for me. It doesn't seem very complicated. I feel like I've guessed a lot of the plot itself that I'm just not clicking with, or if it actually is just a little too young for, I don't know. Like, I feel really bad saying that because I did meet this author in person and she was very sweet and I do think her writing is phenomenal. And just there's something not clicking for me through it, so that's kind of why I feel like I've been trudging with this book for a bit. But I am 55% of the way through and it is a very fast-paced read, so that is a plus. I feel like I am, every time I read it, I read quite a big chunk of it and it doesn't take me that much time. So we're gonna see. I read a little bit of this morning and a plot twist happened that was really sad. And I didn't want to cry, but like now thinking back on it, I want to cry, you know. It's like a hindered response. This is about Jae-Hwa Lee, and she is a Korean American girl who is literally a baddie. She does some martial arts. She also can shoot arrows really well. She's just overall a baddie and an honor roll student. And her dad moves back to Korea after something happens in her family. So they move back to Korea and then she kind of has some weird stuff start happening to her. There's this weird curse that she finds out about, and I don't want to say any more to spoil the rest of it, but there's, you know, some romance in here. There's some fantasy, obviously, and it is really cool because there's a lot of cultural items and aspects like throughout this. The author is American, but she actually went and taught in Korea, and so all of her, you know, all of those aspects that she learned of Korea are in this book, very connected to the setting and aspects of the just family dynamic between Korean families and the culture associated with that. Let's hop into this beast and see if we can start knocking off some things. update you when I'm no longer on this page. Side note, we know Jae-hwa is like cursed, like with this ancient Korean myth where this like Korean god or demigod or whatever takes the firstborn girl of their family. She's the firstborn girl of their family. And the dad does not believe her for some reason. After so many people in her family, and like she literally has the bracelet on, like stuff has happened. And this guy is just like totally gaslighting her right now. And I have no idea why. Like, what the heck? I'm picking up Gilded at like 11 at night. I read some today a little bit. I'm currently on page 259. I'm so close to finishing her. And it's gotten better. Number one, I think in the last clip I said something about me not trusting the love interest situation, and I am. I fear I do love it. And I don't know what she did in the last like couple of chapters, but she made me feel more connected to the characters in a way that I didn't feel before. I feel like in the beginning of the book and even throughout the book, I've just felt very surface level with the characters. Not necessarily our main character. We get a lot of inner monologue from her, and I feel like we do see a lot of her passions and stuff, but in regards to all the other characters and her friends and everything like that, it just seems very surface level, and we're not diving into their thoughts, which makes sense because we've got one point of view, but you could give us a little more, you know what I mean? So I do feel that I am getting more connected to the relationship. I'm not gonna lie, I am getting a little tired of the repetition. Again, I'm making really good progress. It is a very quick read. I already said that, but it genuinely is. If you want a fast-paced book, perfect. I do think, like I said before, I don't know if it's just reading younger or what. I don't know what the issue is with this book that is making me feel detached and not like invested. I don't know what it is, but there's something, and we will figure it out. Hold up, wait a dang minute. I just had like a makeout scene on a train, which I'm so confused because I thought the train was public, like transportation. I wasn't thinking people were getting in their own cars, and now they're just like making out, and I'm just like, is people around or not? Because I'm confused. Either I'm really bad at using context clues, or we need a little bit more like description of things. Update, I was right. They were making out with other people in their car. Bruh.
Everything's peachy. Everything's peachy. Split personality. Sometimes sour, sometimes sweet.
I think the elephant in the room needs to be addressed. I have finished 2 books as of late for this week, and I'm now working on my 3rd. As you saw previously, I went to school today, so I was doing some reading there. But 2 books I finished. First one I finished was Wings of Starlight by Allison Saft. You guys didn't see me read this because I read this as a buddy read with my reading bestie, and I unfortunately rated it a 2.75. If you don't know, now you know. There were some like childhood books that came out that were like chapter books that were Tinkerbell themed. And this is the author that wrote those, and she just came out with a young adult version talking about Queen Clarion and Lord Mallory's relationship. If If you haven't watched Secret of the Wings, you don't know the lore. So get on that. Get on that. This shows their whole love story. I would classify it as a cozy fantasy, really low stakes, to be honest. Even when there was like events happening that were very drastic, it didn't feel like I'm going to have cardiac arrest because I'm anxious. No, it was like just super chill to me. I didn't think it was very high stakes. I liked her writing style a lot. It's very whimsical. I felt that we learned all this information already, and I didn't feel like we got any further insight. If you genuinely watch any, like, the scene of Lord Mallory and Queen Clarion in Secret of the Wings explaining their love story, like, that's it. I don't feel like I got anything else other than what I've already been told. So that was pretty disappointing, especially pulling like almost 400 pages for nothing new. The only thing that I learned was Queen Clarion, kind of what her mentor looked like in becoming queen, and also she is just very anxious and insecure in a lot of things and kind of had to grow from that. And then Lord Mallory has some risks. He's a little silly, little goofball. But other than that, it really didn't, like, there was nothing to it that was added, and I kind of felt like I was wasting my time a bit with it. Am I glad I read it? Yes. Would I recommend this to anybody? Not really, because I don't know what else to, like, add to it. Like, it was a good book, but it's solely there for vibes, nothing else. Then I finished Gilded by Christina Farley. This book I also rated a 2.75. So glad. So glad we got to 2.75 ratings here. Same kind of concept in a sense with this book. I felt that her writing was very strong. I liked it. And I'm curious to see what her newer writing is. 2014 she came out with this, and she has a new series and has written a bunch more books, I believe, from this one. So I'm curious to see how her writing has evolved and how she's grown as a writer. With that being said, I was very confused a lot of the time in this book. So we follow Jae Hwa Lee, who is a 16-year-old girl, and she is Korean American. Her mother passed when she was younger, so her and her Korean father moved to Korea, I think for some job opportunity for him or a school opportunity for her. Either way, like, she ends up in this smart school, her new life at this new school, and she figures out that her family is cursed with this curse where this demigod basically takes the firstborn woman of their family line and, like, takes their soul and, like, captures them. And then they're, like, in this spirit world or whatever. I think personally that the stories presented from the culture were very interesting. And obviously I don't know a lot about the Korean culture, but I think that she very well, like, portrayed a lot of things, even to the point where, because I'm not there and I haven't experienced this culture very widely, I didn't really understand it at times. I actually met her in real life, and she lived in Korea for a time and taught there. So I love how she implemented that culture from her kind of point of view. Again, with that being said, I was confused sometimes, just like I couldn't picture things in my mind, and I also feel like I just didn't know what was going on sometimes. And then in the end, she kind of threw in a bunch of stuff that I don't think was necessary for the plot or the story, and kind of confused me even more. It needed some work. So again, I'm not going to be continuing this series. But I am glad I read it, and I'm glad that I picked up her writing, and I am not going to judge her by one book, even though I have low-key done that from Emily Henry, but that's because I was just mad. Comment below what Emily Henry book I need to read if I didn't like Beach Read. tell me what to do. We've read 2 books so far this week. I decided to pick up Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. I am 138 pages into it. I'm a good chunk of the way. I think it's like 40%. I had like not very good feelings about this book in the beginning. I was very much like, what the heck? Because these are about 2 school teachers and they are arch enemies, and I thought the reasoning was pretty stupid. But that's all I'm gonna say with that, because I like to go into romances blind, so you're not getting anything else from me. But we're following Jack and Emily, and I'm loving it now. Like, I'm having a good time. It's not giving 5-star feelings, but it's definitely like super sweet, and I resonate with some of the things that the characters are going through and working through, and I just think it's good, and I think it's only gonna get better from here. It's been a while. I don't even know what I rated this, to be honest. I think I rated it probably a 3-star, but I'm not sure. I'll put the rating above reflection. This is literally my last read, and I have kind of put it in the archives and like deleted it. Beg, Borrow, and Steal by Sarah Adams. This was my first Sarah Adams book, and I was really excited to hop in to her writing because I feel like she is very much perceived as a clean romance writer. And I don't know if I just picked up a spicier novel of hers or not, but there is a disclosure at the beginning of the book that I completely missed. That states there's like a couple of chapters in here that you need to like just skip over if you want a clean romance. And so I did that, and there was probably like 1 or 2 more chapters that I personally thought were just a little too much for me. I'm really disappointed in this, but for more than just, honestly, not even for the spice content being in there, it's more been the fact that my expectations were pretty high up, and I just thought that this concept could have hit so much harder if there were some tweaks. So there's the whole beginning segment starts with this arch nemesis thing, and I never got it, and then you are told why they're arch enemies, and I was like, this is stupid. I didn't believe it. This is not something that is believable in the real world, and also it's being pawned off as like enemies to lovers. These people are not enemies to me. She was really trying to give off that small town romance, and it just didn't hit. Some things that I did like and that I think that she excelled in was her ability to connect to various aspects of the characters to the reader. I know in my personal opinion, I was connected to Elizabeth in regards to her writing and kind of holding back on her dreams, and in Jack too, just kind of like that scarcity of being public and being known because his father's a famous writer. I can't relate to that, but I'm saying like the characters have issues and have problems that are realistic, in my opinion, in a fictional world. Now, not everybody has a famous writing dad, but it just, I don't know, those things felt realistic to me in this book, which was very much appreciated. Did I highlight stuff? Yes, there were a lot of good one-liners. The banter in this, amazing. I loved it. But yeah, I just didn't find the story fully believable. I didn't really know, like I got to a point, the beginning was rough. The middle, I was like, okay, potential. And then the ending just kind of fell off for me, and I just wasn't into it. Now I know there are 2 other books in this series, or like standalones or whatever from this. I probably won't be continuing it. So these are the 3 books that I read in today's video, and all of them were kind of a swing and a miss, unfortunately. Maybe this is why they haven't been read on my TBR. So, like I said, I have the tendency to start books and then put them away if I'm not feeling like ready for them. But this was a big accomplishment for me to get 3 knocked off of my current reads section. So highly recommend for you to try and take a week or a month to knock off what you've already started, because I do feel heavily accomplished. Yeah, unfortunately all these were lower ratings. They weren't necessarily like the worst thing I've ever read, but I probably wouldn't recommend them to anybody. These two maybe, surprised, because I have thought about these occasionally, and I think these are for a very specific and particular audience. So I hope you can get some reading in, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!